right, good morning everyone and welcome to today's market color session. It is good to have each and every one of you here. All right, perfect. Once again, good morning everyone and welcome once again. It's good to have everybody on board. How have we been and how has the market been treating us this week? See a couple of us online. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Joseph, Larry, Jay, Software, and Petra. All right, so we're going to be analyzing certain asset classes today, starting off with analysis on AUD/USD, NZD/USD, and USD CAD, collectively called the commodity currencies, after which we're going to start looking at indices and sharing our perspective on what we see these different asset classes doing during the course of today. So I hope we're all ready and I hope our attention is here to learn a thing or two and also take note of certain entry points we're going to be watching out for to take advantage of. Okay, so without wasting much of our time, let's go straight into the charts. I'm looking at AUD/USD on the daily time frame now, and what I see predominantly is our major structure still being to the downside. However, during our last analysis, we predicted that AUD/USD was going to come and take out the liquidity that has been residing around this zone, and it's looking like price has now done that. So I'm expecting AUD/USD to give us a reversal because it's not just going to keep buying forever. It has to rest and then continue. So having that in mind, I'm expecting AUD/USD to give us a tiny sell-off somewhere into this liquidity point, which happens to be an IOFE, FVG. Okay, not really. FVG on the other side is all the way down below, but there's a fair value gap here which serves as a liquidity point that will draw AUD/USD downward. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out. And if price happens to break below this zone, then the next possible area that I'm watching out for is now the fair value gap that is all the way down here, right? So yes, I'm expecting temporal sell-offs of the AUD/USD. On the 4-hour time frame, same thing, except that we now have more structure points to give us a clearer picture. So this is what I'm saying will most likely occur here. And then start to buy. Why do I say so? If you look at the daily time frame, you see that this structure point that came to take out liquidity also gave us a tiny BOS, a break of structure to the upside. So, or rather a change of character, whichever way you want to call it. So when we see price retrace back into the zone, this leg will now be another move, another impulse leg, and now starts to give us gradual break of structures on the daily time frame of AUD/USD. Other than that, on the 4-hour time frame, predominant structure, looking at most recent price action is heavily to the upside, right? So I'm expecting price to sell off a bit. And where am I looking at price selling off into? That will now be 0.62738 and 0.62460. For those of us watching online, please take note of this price point. This price point we call our point of interest. Those are the points of interest you're expecting price to trade into so that we can now start to look for buy opportunities or sell opportunities depending on what the case may be. So POI1 has been called. POI2 is now somewhere between the 0.61137 to 0.60870 zone. This is our zone of point of interest, right? So I'm now going to go ahead and use the retracement tool to calculate another possible area where AUD/USD could retrace into. So you now see that we now have another point of interest, which happens to confluence with our second point of interest already drawn, right? So 50 to 61.8% is a good enough zone where price could sell all the way back into, and then we'll start to look for entries of this asset class. So these are the different zones that I'm looking out for. As at Tuesday, we had highlighted that some of us were interested in taking the low probability setup, which is the reversal trade. Then you would want to look for confirmation. You see that in the analysis, AUD/USD has been selling just like we discussed. It's been gradually breaking structures to the downside, and it's been selling just not into our point of interest yet. So we're still waiting for price to come in here if we want to go with the trend following trades. But for those of us who take reversal trades, I take reversal trades. I've been able to take something little out of the AUD/USD reversal. All right, so that's pretty much it. As a recap, my point of interest or my perspective on AUD/USD is temporal sell-offs of this asset class to now resume the buy. So it is a sell to buy move that I am looking out for. Okay, so let's now look at NZUSD and see what this asset class has in store for us today. I believe this has been helpful to somebody. If you don't understand the analysis, do well to type it in the chat box. So I give you a quick recap before we look at other asset classes today. So NZUSD daily time frame, what do we see? Now, unlike AUDUSD where we just saw a slight change of character, the break of structure on the NZUSD is very clear, right? Price take out the structure point clean. So what am I now seeing? Similar to what I saw on AU, I'm expecting price to retrace into liquidity points. Remember, price does not just move based on vibes. Price moves to target liquidity. So it's been buying for so long with so much momentum. And while it was moving with so much momentum, it kept leaving different imbalance, and imbalance would always be filled, right? If not now, later on. So there's a bunch of imbalance that NZD makes to left while buying so much speed. Those are our fair value gaps. We don't have one here. So that's now becomes my first point of interest. Second one that happens to be somewhere around here. And then my third point of interest is the IOFED. Again, what are IOFEDs? IOFEDs are basically when you have two fair value gaps, fair value gaps around the same area. So these are now my points of interest on NZUSD. I'm saying that NZUSD should sell temporarily, come back into a good enough zone so we can start to buy. Remember, we want to buy low, sell high. Now, NZUSD has been buying, yes, but are we just going to jump into the trade and start to buy from where it currently is? No, that's why we're drawing out these reversal points so we can start to buy low, right? Okay, perfect. So we now have that. Our time frame, what do I see? Predominant structure is still to the upside, very clear. I'm just waiting for reversals. So now that I've drawn out my daily POIs, I'm going to use the retracement tool once again to mark out, or rather to calculate possible areas where I think NZUSD would retrace into. Okay, so that would now be somewhere between here. A good enough zone to start to buy NZUSD will now be 50 to 61.8% Fibonacci level, right? So please take note of these price points. Look at them on your chart. Set alerts on your chart so you can go about your day and not be staring at the chart all day. When price eventually trades into those zones, look for confirmation based on how you enter trades and take advantage of these analysis. Okay, so the third or rather fourth point of interest is now 0.57565 to 0.56920. So there are 4 points of interest on NZUSD. Are we together? Please let me know if we're together. So for the sake of those of us who are new-ish to trading, what do you now want to see when price trades back into this point of interest? You want to look for something that looks like this, just this, and a continuation, this exact structure point that you see happening here. Just take note of this. When you see something like this happening around our point of interest, then you can start to look for the bullish variation to take trades. Now, I know it's going to be quite confusing for total newbies. That is fine. Just send us a DM. Send us a DM to our official line, and we're going to guide you through and put you on the right path so that you start to understand the languages that we're speaking during the course of our analysis. Okay, let's not waste too much time. Let's cast USD card before we now go into our analysis on indices. So USD card daily time frame. What do I see? Remember that we predicted the sell. You said we saw USD card sell off continuing earlier, and it has been doing that. So USD card is still selling, but what is our major structure point saying? So this is still very much valid. I'm going to go ahead and mark that out so you can see it too. So this is now the reversal of this entire move. So price is now still dropping downward, right? Okay, let's go to the 4-hour time frame and see. On the 4-hour time frame, however, it's a different story. Predominant structure is still heavily to the downside. So what do I now want to see? On AUSD, I want price to give me a good point of interest. We missed when price came somewhere into the zone, but this entire swing will not really be considered much of a swing to me because it is quite choppy. So having that in mind, looking at somewhere around the zone so that I can have a good entry. Institutions are eventually going to drag this back here so they can get good points as well to start to sell from. So looking at something around this zone or this other fair value gap around this level, and we're going to start taking trades. So yes, this is my perspective on AUSD, NZUSD, and USD card. Should anything change and I see entries, shown, there's a very high possibility I'll be dropping them in the market color group chat. But before we move into indices, let's just look at Forex Factory. Do we have any fundamental news release coming out today that could impact our analysis? So remember, this is just technical analysis that we've done. So today is the 24th of April. What do we have coming out today? Unemployment claims. And it's coming out sometime by 1:30 p.m. So if unemployment claims comes out lower than forecasted, it generally indicates a stronger labor market. Let's look at that. For the sake of those of us who do not know how to read or understand fundamentals, you see this icon here that you could simply click on. So what is forecasted to come out is 22K, right? If it comes out lower than expected, meaning that people who registered being unemployed came out lower than expected, it typically signifies that the USD economy is resilient, stronger, right? It's stronger than expected. So if this comes out lower than expected, we should be seeing more strength going into the USD. And if more strength going into the USD, we should be seeing more sellers of the AUD. But let's not go into all of that and confuse the newbies in our midst, right? Let's just leave it at that. These are my perspective. This is a good time to ask any question if you have before we proceed into analysis on indices. And if this was helpful to you, please do well to let me know. Hi, Mr. Michael Olufukeji. Good to have you here. Mango, welcome. All right, perfect. So let's go straight into analysis on indices now. All right, thank you for your feedback. Cheers, God bless. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back very, very shortly. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Market Follow session. How are we doing today? Hope we're good. Hope we are all doing well and we're fine. All right. Can you hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Kindly confirm for me if you can hear me. All right. Quickly today we'll be looking at what the market is doing, especially with the indices asset class. The second part of this market color is usually tied to analysis on US 30, NAS 100, and S&P 500. Looking at what those market is doing, right? Looking at what those market is doing. And this morning, we've had some interesting thing happen in the market, right? So far, so good. Like I mentioned the last time, that was on Tuesday. This market is driven, especially the US equities market, is driven highly by fundamental, especially what is happening currently. We saw a rally happen on Tuesday, evening of Tuesday, and also yesterday. Today, we should see that rally keep moving. Number one reason for that is because now the White House finally are coming to, to a compromise with the Chinese government on tariff, right? There's news from Wall Street Journal that White House is looking at stepping down the tariff on Chinese to about 50 to 60%, all the way from the 255 that they were given initially. So that's a huge progress. That's a huge progress in the market, right? We have that going on also. CEO of Tesla, that's Trump, the Dutch guy, which has been, disturbing the U.S. department, several departments in the U.S., trying to cut costs. He's also said that he's stepping down from Trump's government administration to just focus on his own business, right? I've been expecting that news much more before now, but then thank God it's happening now because he has rattled a lot of people, right? And governments, you can't just cause any instability. There will always be a reaction, even within the system, right? So that's a good news. And then we're seeing that the market is beginning to rally to the upside. We saw a rally yesterday, and that was what even caused what happened yesterday. If you look at the market on Tuesday, it was Tuesday, then we saw a jump to the upside. Yesterday we saw a bit of sell-off, but now we should see the market again rallying to the upside. One final reason why I'm optimistic about this market is because of the fear index, right? I know not so many people know about this. That's volatility index, VIX, right? Also known as fear index. You use it to measure the rate at which people are afraid in the market. Investors fear in the market, right? As at middle of this month, you could see we went all high as 56, 56, 57 points, right? And you see, the last time we had such kind of a thing, we saw a crash in the market, right? So right now, we can see from the charts that investors are beginning to look into injecting cash from the into the market once again, especially into the US market again. One singular factor that might hinder this is the United States president himself, because he has not been consistent enough. On Monday, he said we are increasing tariff. On Tuesday, it comes, we are not increasing again. On Wednesday, it comes again with another news. So that is just the major, drawdown that might not make us see the rally. But from all indication that we have here, VIX index is currently low as at 28th time of this recording, 28.42, which is quite significantly low from where we are coming from. We are coming from 56.0, right? 50, let's just say 57, right? We're coming from 57. Currently, it's on 28.42, which signifies that investors are no longer, or they are beginning to become optimistic about the market. That is number one. Number two, there's a softened agreement between the Chinese government and Donald Trump, right? That's the White House, United States, about tariff, and then there are talks about splitting, the current tariff plan that is on China from 250 plus to about 50, 60-ish, pending when they have proper negotiation, which is also good for the market. So the analysis we did, that was on Tuesday, actually has to be invalidated with this because of the new, progress that's been made so far in this market, right? And so far so good. Looking at what we have now, by the time we look at from the daily time frame, look at what is happening on the daily time frame, or from daily time frame, structurally, we are still very much bearish, right? By the time you look at structure perspective, we are still very much bearish. But then with the news that is going on now, with the news we have based on fundamental, let me mark out some key levels. Let me mark out some key levels, right? So, come in. This is going to help us look at what you should expect in this market. All right. So this will allow us to look at where markets should, return from, or we should see some clear, reversal from this setup we've seen. Structurally speaking, on a daily time frame, once again, we are very much bearish, right? But then from fundamental and the news we have, sentiment is beginning to shift on the US market, and we are seeing investors, confidence coming back also into the daily time frame. We should expect a bounce off from this. This was the last, lower low that's been formed. We've not seen a new lower low again, right? We've not seen a new lower low from this market. And then we have another yet looking like a lower high here, which the market has not violated, right? Market has not violated. This was supposed to be the lower high, but then we have something here. So the market has not violated this to the downside. So what am I expecting? I'm waiting with the fundamental that we have now on US market. I expect we should see a bounce off from this level, right? We should see like a bounce off from this level, this strong level here, because the market in a way kind of broke through the level, but then we didn't see a solid bullish candle. This can be considered an engulfing candle. However, we didn't see something very bullish again. Probably we saw like two extra bullish candle that would have given us a lot more confidence in this market. But then for now, what we'll do is wait for this market to react from this level, see the level of reaction from this point. Also, let's not forget on a daily time frame that we are sitting on an order block that's not been tested before, right? A bullish order block that's not been tested before. So we expect that market price will come to this zone, tap into this level, and then start moving to the upside. This is predicated on the fundamental we have. The first fundamental is strongly bullish. So we want to start looking for bullish opportunity in this market, right? We want to start looking for bullish opportunity in this market. By the time you look closely again, we'll see that we have an inefficiency here. Price already filled it or should fill it by before afternoon, right? Typically. But then I'm looking for areas that looks very valid for a buy to the upside. We're looking at this 4-hour order block, very tiny, but yet very significant. Because when it comes to US 30, order blocks and fair value gaps are very, very, valid. They are being respected when it comes to US 30 and the likes. So I expect that price is going to come down to this zone. And then, in fact, this entire zone that we marked is a good place to start watching out from the market. But then, I want to see like a box pattern on the lower time frame, right? The lower time frame. And by the lower time frame now, I'm talking about the M15 and, M30-ish kind of time frame, because from there we can, start looking to bank this market to the upside. A very good, price action will be price breaking this, right? Price breaking this. So we have a proper change of structure. However, we've not seen that yet. We've not seen that yet. Instead, price broke this first level. So I consider this probably a change of character. And from there, we'll come back and then price something like this. Let me draw it out. Right. So all of this technical analysis is based off of the sentiment and the fundamental we have going on currently in this market, right? And that is what is giving us that level of confidence, or that our bias for taking a buy on the US markets, US 30, especially because of what we have going on, right? Structurally on the daily time frame, it looks very much bearish on the daily time frame. However, by the time you check VIX index, what that is the gauge of fear in the market, we are on a stable level, right? Compared to where we're coming from. We're coming from 56.0 and currently we're on 28. That's a lot of difference in the market, signifying that investor confidence is gradually coming back into United States market. And also we said once again, that the tariff struggle between the two economies is beginning to soften, right? They're beginning to come to a compromise. And there's speculations from the Wall Street Journal that US will slash the Chinese tariff to 50 to 60%, coming from 255. That's a whole lot of difference also. So this is part of the reasons why we are looking at taking trades on the US market, on the US 30 market. So let's go to NASDAQ, which is US 100. Almost the same price action across board, right? The same price action across board, and that is part of the reasons why we might just want to not to repeat ourselves again. What will change now is the pair that we want to take trades on, right? By the time you look at US 30, you see that on US 30, we've not seen that break of structure that we're looking for. However, when you come down to US 100, that's NASDAQ, you've seen that market has broken structure to the upside, the first one here, and also the second one here, right? It broke it by a week, but then it's still considered a break of structure. So what are we looking out for? On US 100 now, we have two areas of interest, right? Which is this. Let me use my box 2 to mark it out. This order block first, and then the second one. The second one is actually the one we're looking at on US 30, right? So you have two areas of interest, watching out for how price is going to react from this zone, right? We're watching how price is going to react on this zone, and for any reason we see a box pattern on the say 30-minute time frame or 15-minute time frame. For those wondering what is a box pattern, it's just something. Let me just give you the schematic. There's an explanation behind it, but then let me give you the schematic of what we consider a box pattern, right? So a sweep of liquidity, break of structure, and then price coming back to that level, looking for fair value gaps, other blocks are around this level for you to start buying to the upside, right? So we have this. We want to see this happen on the lower time frame, say 15 minutes or 30 minutes or even the 10-minute time frame. We want to see that happen in this area of order block. Once we see that, we can start taking trades in the market. And also, we've explained over and over again why we are considering a buy, right? Also, on the daily time frame, this looks much like a sell happening on the daily time frame, which is correct. However, fundamentally speaking, we shouldn't be looking out for sales. Instead, we should start looking out for buys in this market, and that will give us opportunity in the market. All right, the same thing is happening on S&P 500. We have almost the same price action, right? And not to keep repeating ourselves, I believe this analysis beautiful on S&P 500 has broken structure to the upside, right? Properly, right? It has broken structure to the upside properly. So my want to be looking at one of the things you want to do is open 3 charts side by side, US 30, US 100, S&P 500, and then mark what level trying to see if you can see something like that here. No, we don't have something like that here, right? We'll have marked what level will react first. Okay, I'm giving a free version of TradingView. We'll have marked what level react first. So one of the things you want to do, whether you're using MT4, MT5, or CTrader, just drag 3 charts, 3 pair to your chart. That's US 30, US 100, S&P 500, and draw these levels that we've marked out and see how price react on each of them. So that will give you, the leading pair to trade, right? Price will definitely come to the first one and then start playing out before the second one catches up. So if you missed S&P 500 for any reason, you might just jump on US 30 to catch that same trade and expect the rally to happen also. All right, thank you so much for joining. This is a good time to ask your question. Do we have any question? And one more information for those that are just joining us newly. One of the things you want to do is head to our YouTube channel. If you're totally new to Market Scholar and you're wondering how do I go about this? Is this terminology sounding strange to me? Just head to our YouTube channel. Go to our playlist. You see 2 playlists that have been created for you, right? It's been designed for you. Forex trading for beginner and free forex training, right? Those are the 2 playlists. Go to our YouTube channel, Value Flow Trading, and then search for those playlists, and you can sit on them. We have 7 videos on the first one and 8 videos on the second one, right? That is more than enough for you to get started, right? Also, that being said, I'm waiting for a question. Do we have any question this morning? Do you have any question this morning? Do you have any question, any inquiry? Go through the comments. Thank you, Ayuba, Daniel, Oyebode, Destiny, J, Joseph Rema, Joshua Kennedy Kolo, Kenny, Epa. Good morning, Mr. Kelly. How you doing? Paula De Lewis Mangot. I greet you. Kalumi, do you have any question? Dr. Ogunbemi, do you have any question? And one name. Apologies if I didn't get that pronunciation correctly. All right, no question. Very clear. Good morning, sir. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll meet again by 2 p.m. for the London session market follow, and then we'll see whether there's anything that's really changed significantly in the market. Right? Destiny say no, I don't have any questions. Thank you so much. And until we meet by 2 p.m., ensure you use proper risk management. If you don't see your setup, don't take any trade, like we always say. If it's not obvious, it is dubious. Until next time, cheers and God bless.